Hi, this is Scott with Android Guys. I'm here with Luke.
Hello.
Luke is going to talk to us about a game. Is it a game?
It is a game.
Okay.
Yeah, this game is called Lyne, Lyne.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interesting one. This is not really the type of game I normally play.
Okay.
It's a actually I think this would be a game that you would be interested in.
I'm looking at pictures of it and the video on the Play Store as you talk, and I'm like, yeah, this is speaking to me.
Yeah. So it's a very simple premise. You're just trying to connect different points with lines. And you go through here. I got it set up so you can kind of go through the first couple levels. So the design of the game is very, very simple but very good. You're trying to connect these two like shapes with other shapes in a line. And if there are multiple shapes, let's say you have triangles and squares in one, you have to make a line connecting the triangles together and then a line connecting the squares. And as long as everything has lines, you move on to the next level. There's a start and an end triangle, and those are signified by usually another outline of the same shape, either within them or on the outside of them. So you know they're the start and end points.
Right.
As you go through the game, it gets harder and harder. You might have a spot where you have these kind of hexagon-looking pieces that have a certain amount of squares in them, and those squares signify how many different types or how many different times a line can pass through them.
Okay.
So if it has two, that means you have to pass the line through twice, or two lines have to go through this spot.
Okay.
So if you have triangles and squares, you might have to intersect in that hexagon to be able to connect your lines to complete the puzzle. And as you go, they start introducing other things like a reverse, where you have to use the same hexagon twice in one line. So you might have to go to one triangle to the next triangle, up to the hexagon, down to another triangle, and then over, and then back to that hexagon again. So
I gotcha.
You have to kind of reverse on itself and go that way. The lines can only go perpendicular and diagonal.
Yeah.
And so normally a line can't cross another line unless it's at one of those hexagon junctions.
I could see some like soft lines that show you where they can go potentially.
Yep.
And I'm probably, as you started talking, I'm probably through like the first 20 levels already.
Yeah, it was very quick to go through.
Steps you up, and it feels like it teaches you without having to teach you.
Yeah, there's really nothing that pops up and says, hey, this is how you do this. It's just kind of shows you. And if you start a line and make a mistake, it's not like you have to restart the level. I went into, I was like, oh, I can't do this. I went into the menu, just try and see like to restart. And all it does is you can go back to the main menu, because if you need to restart a line, you just start swiping from the beginning again, and it kind of erases the line you had and starts a new one.
That. Yep. So it looks like I almost finished it, and then it blinked like, hey, you forgot to hit through here.
Right.
And you just kind of start again.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The game is very good at stepping up the difficulty and kind of teaching you the best practices or kind of ways to think about connecting the lines. As far as the actual gameplay, it doesn't really change much from there. You get some more complexity in the amount of shapes, and then some complexity maybe in the size of the pattern, whether, because normally you start out like a 3x3 or a 2x3, maybe a 4x4. As the game goes on, there's more and more shapes, so those lines the grid gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
But the way that you can move up, down, left, right, diagonal is all the same. That doesn't change. It's just the way that you have to kind of figure out, how do I hit all the points on this line without intersecting the line across another line. It's a very, very good game. Very well designed. It looks beautiful. The sound is good in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as gameplay goes, it's kind of all there is. There's not really that I've gotten to yet. Granted, I haven't played it a ton, but I haven't gotten to anything new as far as, any kind of new shape or new style of line or any new kind of box that does something different that I haven't seen. It's all kind of connecting one point to another through a series of kind of intersections.
I do see in some of the screenshots, I see some other colors, some different backgrounds. And then in the description, it says there are hundreds of puzzles.
Yeah.
And then an infinite number of procedurally generated puzzles. Daily. So I imagine
maybe as you get into it, then you probably unlock more and more different categories and different ways to play. This feels, and I'm looking at the accolades that go all the way back to like 2013. So this looks like the kind of game that would be my jam. Yeah,
like
for sure.
Play it for a few minutes here and there.
Yeah.
Forget that I have it. And, I've got some time to kill. I'm going to do this, or, try. I like puzzles.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting way of looking at things.
Yeah. And it's not I think the thing I do like about it, sorry, it's not a big time commitment. You can hop in, play a game, play a couple levels, and then get right back out. It doesn't feel like you have to get to a certain point before you can leave the game.
And at the same time, there's no timer in the game
right.
to pressure you into I can almost beat this level, but I don't have enough time.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah. And it's, it looks nice, but there's not a lot of moving things. So it's very, very easy going on the processing on your phone. It's not going to be a huge battery hog or anything like that. Just one of those nice little aesthetically pleasing puzzle games. Ultimately, I gave this a pretty average score. It's a better above average. It was I think it was a 3.3 or something like that.
3.1.
3.1.
Yeah.
And really, for me, it comes down to, as far as features, there's really not much that changes from the core gameplay. And it's not necessarily my style of game.
Sure.
I gave it good remarks for audio and graphics. This is a Play Pass game for me, so it was free. It is $3 in the Play Store. So as far as ads, I gave it a high marks because there are no ads.
Yeah, so that's a subjective part there, right?
Sure.
If you're not a Play Store, and then is it worth $3 to you?
Sure.
I don't know what the experience is with the ads.
Right.
I'm a Play Pass person myself, so I can't say, oh yeah, it's just the occasional ad after each level or every so many.
But if it is $3, there might not be any ads anyway.
Oh, for that, yep, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So for, is the game worth $3? I would say probably, if you like these kind of, aesthetically pleasing, low, kind of low impact puzzle games.
Yep.
This one looks beautiful, and it's will keep your brain thinking.
Yeah, this looks like something I could probably do at the end of my day.
Yeah.
As I'm trying to just unwind.
Yep.
After I've put away social media and all the stuff, maybe put on a podcast and handle a couple of levels of this.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's called Lyne.
Lyne.
Lyne. All right. Thanks for sharing, Luke.
No problem.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feedback, concerns, comments, anything, shoot us an email at podcast@AndroidGuys.com. We'd love to hear from you one way or the other. Luke, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Luke Gaul, Gaul.
And I'm on Instagram at Scott Webster and Twitter as SWebster77. Until next time, thanks for listening.
See ya.